beefier device for the high school. Down at the middle schools, they're really only running it, I mean, most of what they're doing at the middle school is online, and it's web-based. Up at the high school, they're using the math programs, they're using the science programs. They need a little higher processor, they need some more memory. So that's why I'm not trying to recommend the same device all the way through, because there are differences between the way the middle schoolers use it and the way the high schoolers are using it. So in year one, the claims, the warranty claims, you can see, and I don't have to read it to you. You can see the percentages here. We're halfway through year 3. So our total claims so far for 2.5 years on this model for the 11th graders are we've had 30% go back for warranty claims, and we've only had 16% go back for ADP claims. Cost of the 4-year warranty plus that ADP coverage is $140 per device at the high school level. And we do charge an optional fee to the parent for that ADP coverage, and that's $35 per device per year. So that covers it.
So essentially it's a break even.
It's a break even, you got it. So essentially it's a break even, we're really not putting the money out for it, the parent is putting the money out for it. It's optional, it's totally optional. If the parent does not wish to pay it, and their son or daughter does drop their computer, then they have to pay it. They pay that money. Those costs are posted on the website, and they're in the form that every parent signs off on. We have about 5% who don't take the ADP coverage at the high school. I guess they figure when you see it's more expensive on the 11E to replace the screen, it's more expensive to replace the keyboard, everything's just a little higher quality. When they replace the screen, it's not just replacing the screen, they replace the bezel, they replace the digitizer. So it costs a little bit more, plus it's the labor costs. And we send that out to Integra One is our service provider for fixing the 11Es.
And is the cost of that, the cost of that, if we look at the total claims, to actually figure out how much money that is almost impossible, because if it goes out, you don't always know everything they do. You know what it goes out for, but you don't know that it might be sent out for one thing and they had to fix 5.
Correct.
And we don't really know that, so to cost out what it would have cost to truly fix it if it wasn't under warranty, or ADP, not warranty, but ADP. So did you try to estimate that in terms of, what is that in terms of dollars?
So I have some of the invoices for the students who get invoices when they don't have ADP.
Right. We have some
So-
samples.
So I have samples, and actually we don't have one that went out this year so far in 18-19. There's not a one that wasn't covered under ADP. So that,
That's
you know,
great.
like I said, there's only like 5%.
Right.
So, oh my, this is really small. To replace the keyboard and the top cover on one young man's computer here was $235.25. That was the keyboard cover and
You
labor.
covered your insurance.
It's the coverage recovery.
You covered your insurance. There was a base enclosure, so the bottom enclosure, plus it's a half an hour of work. So our labor rate is $95 an hour, total $181 here. To replace the system board, to replace the motherboard
Oof.
with the labor, $484.
Yep.
So when you say, you know, so this gives you a sampling of what it does cost if it goes out and it's not covered.
140 is cheap.
This one here was a top cover, base enclosure, a hard drive, because again, when you drop it, it could be more than just the cover.
Yeah, sure.
That was $485 as well. So it can add up rather quickly. So really the $35, you know, it looks like the claims might only be 16%, but you know, it's worth it in the end. I would feel as a parent for that $35 to cover me.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth it.
I agree.
You're fine with it.
So I have recommendation up here, probably not the best choice of word. How about option for 1920? So, and again, now we're at the middle school, so not at the higher end, but at the middle school. So if we were to purchase the extended warranty plus the ADP, so the whole enchilada here, on the 1920 devices, the extra charge to the district would be $63, which is that 3-year warranty and ADP times 600 units is what I'm estimating that we need for this class coming in. 3-year coverage is $37,800. There'd be no additional cost for those 18-19 devices. They're still covered by warranty. Remember, I said we have a 2-year warranty on the current devices. And if we would choose to extend that warranty on the devices that we bought last year for next year, that would be that extra $16 to extend that warranty for an additional year, and that's $9,600. Proposing to the optional parent payment for the ADP coverage, $20 a year for your 3 years, so that's $60. So again, it's pretty much a wash. So $20 times, and I'm figuring 1,445 students. I'm figuring there's going to be 1,700 students in the middle school. I'm assuming 10% free and reduced lunch and 5% opting out of the fee. So that's just estimates. So at $20 times 1,445 students, that would be $28,900 coming in just for 1 year. So the district cost for that extended coverage then would be $37,800, which is up top there, the 63 times 600, plus 9,600 if we choose to extend the warranty on the 600 units that we purchased last year, and then take away, or minus, sorry, take away, so let me try. Minus $28,900 that we take in. So for district cost this year for extended coverage would be $18,500.
That's the part that made the budget.
And that would be what would, add, that would be the add to go with the extended warranty and ADP for the full 3 years.
Can I price this out over 3 years though? Because what I think I hear you saying is that $37,800 is the cost to cover next year's 6th graders for all 3 years.
Correct.
Okay, so let me just focus on that number. So let's say there's 600 6th graders, and we're talking about their costs to the district. So the coverage is $37,800. You're subtracting out 15% because of the free and reduced and the opting out fee.
Correct.
So if we take out 15% of 600, we're at 510 kids. So I'm gonna make that 500 kids for the sake of math, all right? If they're paying $20 a year, we get $60 over 3 years from 500 kids, right? So $60 times 500 is $30,000. And so we're spending $37,800 and collecting $30,000, which means the cost over 3 years is only $7,800, and I rounded down.
But
It's
you're
actually
much
less than
better
7,800. It's
math
actually
than
That's
closer
worse
to
than they're doing
5,000.
too.
There we
We're
go.
doing the same
And your
numbers.
percentages are high on free and reduced and the 5% opting out, and the opting out, we're gonna get their money in. So there are other ways to look at this. So really the 18,500, you're only subtracting out 1 year of the $20.
Correct.
You're not subtracting out multiple years of the $20. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that 18,500 is really only the cost that'll be incurred for that first year, but there actually are then savings in years 2 and 3.
Right.
Yes.
Because we don't have to expend anything for
Thank
the
you.
7th and 8th graders, but we're
Yes.
collecting $20 from them
Correct.
Right.
if we choose to do it. The other option is to self-insure, still collect the $20, and then we fix the ones we can fix, and we replace the ones because they're actually cheap enough. It probably, in lots of cases, it would be just cheaper to buy a new one and give them a $300, $15 machine.
Exactly.
Over the long haul, it might be cheaper to self-insure.
Yes.
And that's really the risk we're taking.
Do we do that now with, if they damage a computer and it's going to cost them more to fix it than to just get a new one, do we let them just get a new one?
Well, it's covered under ADP.
No, I mean the kids who aren't, because you said you get bills for people who don't pay it. Do they get that option?
They have to pay what? Because we still have to pay for that computer, so no, they are charged
It's
what it
leased,
costs. It's
remember.
leased.
But they're charged the cost of it, if it goes out, right, and let's say, how much are the high school computers?
$615.
Okay, so you have not had a situation where the repair was more than
No.
$615?
We have not. Correct.
If the repair was $700,
Then we,
they're not gonna repair it.
No,
They're
they
going
would
to
not
replace it
repair
for
it. I'm sorry.
$615,
No,
and we're
yeah,
charge
we
you
just-
for
I was gonna
$615,
say-
that's.
no, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't think
I
we'd ever got to
misspoke
the point
there.
where it
We've
was
never gotten to
totaled.
that point.
It's
But you
like,
don't know what it's gonna cost until it goes and it's repaired, basically, right?
So-
Because
Correct.
the extent of the damage is unclear.
So when it goes out,
Good job on the quote.
we have the option not to have it repaired.
Right.
So they'll charge, so if it's not under ADP, like, they will charge us for that quote, because they've taken it apart and they, you know, they're looking at it. So if we don't go forward with it, they will charge us, I forget the exact figures, I think it's $75 for the quote at that point. So, but we haven't hit where, you know, they've come back to us and said it's $700.
It's totaled.
It's
It's
total.
Just like car insurance, what are we talking about?
Except for the car, the one that got run over by the car, but
Yeah,
then
well,
we
it was
dealt with
total,
that.
right?
That's
Yeah,
total, literally.
we dealt with that with the leasing.
So-
Car charge.
So so it was about 50-50 as far as who pays for insurance versus self-insurers. It was pretty close. It was what, 3 to 4 out of the 7. Do you know if the 3 pay for the warranty and not ADP, or if those 3 don't pay for either when with their and cover their own warranty repairs in-house as well, rather than paying for that additional warranty? Because I'm also wondering, you know, I don't know how I'd like to be able to compare, if we can fix most of the things in-house, if it's worth us to be paying for all of that extra money, and maybe reaching out to the 3 that are self-insured and finding out from them, how's it working for them? How are their numbers looking?
So for us to say that we're going to repair everything in-house is,
That's a lot of man-hours.
yeah,
That's man-hours.
that's a lot of man-hours.
Yeah. Put it in a box and send
Well,
it
unless
back
the
to
cases are eliminating 79% of the breakages.
Yeah, but we don't know that.
That's enough.
Well, we
If
can't,
I
we
mean-
can't
And
determine.
I think the most likely time to break it is as you take it in and out, or as you're using
Yeah.
it, as opposed to when it's in the
Yeah.
fleet.
Or aren't you sitting at a desk when you're taking it out of your?
They fall off the desk.
They're slippery, actually, if you think
But
about
I
it.
can
Sometimes
tell
they
you.
can get slippery.
Oh, they
fall
get
off
knocked
the
off the desk.
Yeah.
Kids are getting knocked with their
Kids are
backpacks
getting
and
knocked.
stuff,
Here
and
you
knocking,
use the-
yeah.
I hate to say it, but I'm extremely accident prone, so if I'm extremely accident prone as an adult, there's gonna be accident prone children. So, heaven forbid.
I buy a new phone, I get an auto box. It's good.
I just feel like it's a very real possibility that you could be sitting down and it slides, I mean, you know, you bump it and it flies off the
These little
desk.
tabs
Right,
get
I
dirty,
get
they'll
that, but the
slide.
whole point of insurance is, the whole point of insurance is the bigger, you know, the bigger pool you're pooling from, it's just like health
Yeah.
insurance, right? As an individual, it makes sense to have health insurance, because if something goes wrong, it's really expensive, but when you have a pool, you know, of that many people,
Yeah,
and you even out the cost, sometimes it's better to be self-insured, just like we are with our health insurance.
right, but I think for self-insuring, then your costs go up on having people to repair it.
Right.
But
Man
we're already
man
doing,
hours.
we're already doing, we're
Personnel.
already repairing what we
Sorry.
can repair in-house and only sending them what we can't do.
No, the only thing that we're repairing in-house right now are we've repaired some of the cracked screens and some of the,
Yeah, these devices.
and
Why did
these
we choose
devices.
to do that?
Because it's not covered under accidental damage.
Mhm.
Or it's not covered under warranty, so it's either we fix it
Right,
or
we
we
didn't
have to.
currently have ADP. If we had ADP on the device,
It
you
would go
wouldn't, you would have them do it, because there would be no
Absolutely.
reason for us
Correct,
to do it.
Put it in a
correct,
box.
right.
And so,
Yes.
Bring it back.
all,
charge a child?
and I just wanna be clear, so every one of those one-to-one districts buys a 6th grader a laptop, and then at 9th grade buys them a different laptop.
I specifically asked that. So you really, you can't get 7 years out of a
You're
device.
not getting 7
It's
years
just,
Well, but you're buying a lower-end laptop at the middle school, you're buying a higher-end laptop at the high school, and so after 4 years, year 5, you're still getting a better laptop than
Nope.
the lower-level middle school laptop
Nope.
that you're buying that doesn't have all of the.
5 years.
Your
of
hard
memory
drives, your
and all
hard
that.
drives and your batteries are gonna start crashing.
Batteries.
I have a
Batteries.
laptop, I've had the same laptop since 2008, I don't have any problems with it.
Oh my gosh, I get one every year.
Cause you break it.
Because she breaks them.
or see-
Sorry.
I'm not trying to be argumentative, but there are people like me. Ask my boss, he's
And
already given me a new
When
one
I look
every
at your
year.
data, and you said that they were the current juniors, correct? Because
Correct.
they're the ones who have had them for 2.5 years. Is it fair for me to say that in 2.5 years, about half of the computers have had some sort of issue,
Yes, it is.
right? Because it's
Correct.
46% if you add up warranted and ADP. I'm
Correct.
assuming there isn't any overlap, but maybe there's a little overlap,
There,
but
I'm sure there's some
it's in the
overlap.
ballpark of
Mhm.
40 to 50%. In 2.5 years, almost half the machines have had some sort of issue
Correct,
that we've had to replace and
Correct.
deal with and things like that.
And that's
Correct.
only that one model, right? The 11E,
The 11E is what we're,
yeah.
is
Well,
at the high
And
school.
that kind of brings me back to actually Mrs. Furlong's question at the beginning. Is Lenovo the right way to go? Are we comparing that to other products that are out there? Because I can tell you, I've taken these home.
I've broken a few Lenovo.
I've talked, a lot of the high school kids that have, they hate them. They have all kinds of glitches in them. I've only brought 2 home and I've had problems with both of them. So,
I had one of his
So-
webbooks.
So your computer that you've had since 2008 is a Mac? I'm assuming?
and my 2008 still works, so.
I'm just saying, we're not gonna get Macs for all the kids.
It's not a Mac.
Nobody
Oh,
else
it's
is
not.
in business.
It's
It's
just
not-
like a webbook
I think it's a
or
Dell.
something
It's
like
not,
that.
it's not a Chromebook, so it's
So,
not.
If I
well, I had a
recall-
Lenovo like this, and it did have tons of glitches. I'm so sorry,
That's right.
Mr. Kraft.
That's right.
I'm done.
If I recall, when we first looked at Lenovo, we went out and benchmarked the other manufacturers.
We did.
Okay.
We did this. And Lenovo was towards the top of that list when you look at failure
They've come a
rates.
long way.
Oh,
Okay? Lenovo's one of the better. Okay,
Okay.
you can say that you had 2 that you had issues with. I don't know what those issues were, but, okay, I get it. But when we benchmarked this a couple of years ago, the other manufacturers, the HPs, the Dells, et cetera, were far worse,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
okay, in their histories.
They've gotten a lot better. Lenovo
they
has
have
come a
done a
long
lot
way.
better.
Can we update that comparison and see if that's still the same?
And the
It's never
ruggedness,
changed up.
you know,
Yeah,
You don't
they're
think so?
getting a lot better.
so the durability. So at this point, we have standardized, and there's a lot to be said to be
Yes.
standardized from a support
Yes.
perspective as
Yes.
well. So also, for the teachers who have a docking station, so we know that the dock works,
Oh.
you know, no
That's
matter
huge.
what model they bring in, you know, because every year the model
It's gonna be
changes,
cool.
you know, just like a car, you know,
That's
they change things. But the dock that we have purchased will work with the Lenovo laptop.
And you know what, Dell doesn't do that. Dell's
they?
changes.
Do they
Dell's
change?
docking stations
Yep.
change.
Yep.
So that's a
They're
really big
replicators,
thing with
they're replicator,
Lenovo.
port
And
replicators.
almost $200
A
a
pop
piece.
for a port replicator.
Oh,
And we just have a little
They're
USB dock.
yeah.
It doesn't have power, it's just a
Yeah.
little USB dock. I think they're $80 a dock.
yeah, so that's a savings right there if they don't
Exactly.
change
As
it.
opposed to 200.
Okay, I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah. I think Lenovo's come a long way, actually, in the last 5, 6 years, 10 years.
I sure hope so.
And also, you know, in the education space, definitely.
Okay.
They're supposed to have, you know,
Hmm?
when we first went out and we bought the HPs, now again, this was 6 years ago, but, you know, they were the big, huge
Monster.
HPs that all you had to do was blow on the corner and the corner broke, you know. So these have come a long way as far as their durability.
So you're proposing a fee for middle school,
Yes.
$20 technology fee, and $35 for high school level.
So the high school already is there.
But they're already
So
there.
the high school already has, and again, it's an optional fee.
Okay.
So, you know, the parent has the option to pay it, but it does provide them with that ADP coverage then.
The only thing I would suggest there on the 20, it doesn't quite cover our costs. I'd like to see that at 25 personally. That's my own observation.
And they're above.
Okay, and I was just looking at the data that you have here, for these cute little devices. And, I mean, whether they've been out there for half a year or a year and a half, 40% of the failures are user and abuse. So those are the ones that wouldn't be covered
Correct.
otherwise. You know, the predominant failure is battery issues, and I'd like to get an answer from Lenovo, maybe. We can pressure them and say, hey, we have some data that suggests there's an issue. Maybe they have a BIOS update, or
I've
they have
gone back to
something.
them a couple times
Okay.
about batteries,
Okay.
correct.
And just a thought.
Right, because the battery is only covered for a year.
Yep.
You know, your battery is not,
They start
that's a
expanding, they
year.
start getting worse.
So that's still not gonna be covered anyway, is what you're saying?
No, battery is a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like tires on a car.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I see.
Well, battery years in the car too, it has to be longer than a year. But try getting it past 5 years.
And then I just thought if you're paying for the extended warranty, then that would be covered in that.
No, the battery is not covered.
So it's
Limited.
And that's, yeah, that's,
Consumable, basically.
consumable.
And it's one of our biggest problems.
Well,
And we're paying for a warranty that's
but in the
covered.
scheme of things, even though you're seeing a bunch of failures here, like I said, they're on the higher end of the spectrum when you benchmark the other manufacturers.
You'd see a lot.
and that is my question slide, which I do should.
I'm done with the numbers. Those of us that can't talk.
I hear you. Yeah, I know, sounds a lot.
So, but the warranty claims itself, that's where you're paying the most money is for the warranty, and the repairs covered by warranty is only 1.8%.
Well, that's warranty claims. Right?
Right.
What does that 1.8% represent? Is that the total failures against your installed base, or is
That
that
is-
only the ones that are warranty related?
They're the ones warranty related,
Okay,
correct.
they answer your question.
Right, so the warranty costs more than ADP, but only 1% of what we're paying, 1% of our claims are warranty related. So are we really making back what we're putting into warranty?
And actually, those battery issues up there, that was not that the battery went dead on those already. It wasn't holding a charge, and I think that's what happened right out of the box. Your first one, Megan,
Okay.
right out of the box, it did not hold a charge.
My other one doesn't either. Wow, doesn't hold a charge.
All right, we'll take a look at that. The one you're using now?
Yeah, this isn't that, this is that. This is the one that you just had at the table, but yeah, I have to have it plugged into a wall to be able to use it.
Also, okay, we'll take a look
My,
at that.
my old one did that too, I guess it's just a,
Yeah, but this is good, so, all right, we'll take a look at that.
but I think that kind of like, that happens a lot with them, right?
So, I mean, it shouldn't happen that much, quite honestly,
Oh.
but, you know, so I can take a look at that again too.
The decision that actually has to be made, right, I think there's a couple of
They're
them.
one-to-one.
We have to make decisions regarding, one-to-one and the recommendation in terms of sixth graders and the middle school taking them off.
Correct.
Right? So that's one thing we need to talk about.
It is.
We need to talk about sleeves for sixth graders. The recommendation is that we provide a sleeve in sixth grade with the expectation that the student uses it, right? That's our recommendation.
Requirement?
Requirement.
Well, anytime you say requirement, it becomes a policing issue.
Oh.
And so,
That's
yes,
what I
we
want.
can say,
Okay.
sixth graders, we want you to put us in a sleeve, but if the kid doesn't have it in a sleeve and it breaks, and it's under ADP, we're still gonna deal with it.
Okay.
We're not gonna say, oh, by the way, you violate, right? I mean, it just, so we just have to be careful with what we say. I do understand the point of that conversation, the same thing with if they pick their own sparkly purple case. For someone to police that to go, that one's okay, that one's not, I'm not sure that's the business we wanna be in for middle
Right,
school
good point.
kids, right?
Right.
Because I think lots of them will, so we just have to decide where, because we can, but
Right.
that just is manpower then, that is,
Right.
please know that that's not a teacher or an assistant principal's job primarily, in terms of what we want them to be spending their time doing. And so for us to say, here are your 4 options, I understand that, what if they pick the 5th one? Nobody's really gonna know that until a problem happens, and so then it becomes,
Oh,
if we
right.
already have the ADP, it's not like we're gonna go back and say, oh, by the way, you violated
That
your
wasn't-
warranty, if we already have it covered anyway. So I think we just have to be careful about that, although we do have to make that decision. And then the last decision we have to make is regarding the payment, right, in terms of the insurance and whether we're gonna be self-insured or not if we do that. When I do the calculations based off of the information Diane provided for us, if you charge $25 per year, that does more than cover the cost of the warranty and covers about half of the case, if the case is $12, which is the price we've heard another district got for it. Now, we haven't negotiated the same price, but that gives us about $6 per kid, because I factored out the 5% who didn't take the information, so we don't have to pay their $63, right? So I took their I took those
You took
30,
their money.
I took their $63 out to make it, it's a little less from that standpoint. Well, numbers, get my numbers. And so that's at $25, the district would be investing, besides the computer, would be investing $6 per kid on the case. I mean, you can call it anything you want. The issue is that worth the manpower savings to not then us replacing screens and right, and I don't know how many hours that is, we can't project that in terms of the number of issues. If we self-insure, we obviously will monitor it for 3 years and see what's worth it, because that can be a decision we make. And literally, I think it really, either way, we don't know. I think it's gonna be close either way. The question is the sure thing versus you take the chance and then you reevaluate. The problem is to get 3 years of data, we've got multiple years of kids that we've made this ADP decision for, and so you're really in it for more than 3 years, right? Because the computers that are in, you can't add ADP to. And so the warranty doesn't seem to be significant enough for us to worry about that piece if we're not gonna worry about the ADP. You might as well self-insure,
Right.
right? Because the warranty costs,
Exactly.
and they know that, that's why they play the game they play in terms of costs, right? We
Yeah.
understand why. And so the question is, what are you comfortable with in terms of that piece? Because there are some benefits to self-insured. We repair what we can cheaply, because those pieces we can do cheaper, but it's a manpower issue. And then you get data and you see whether it costs you, but you are rolling the dice. There is a chance that, as with self-insured insurance, we don't have stopgap loss, right? We stop loss gap. We don't have that where we have that on health insurance. $1-2 million claim, your insurance company kicks in. That's not going to be true in computers. If all of a sudden we have a rash on 7th grade kids breaking them, that's $350 a pop
Right.
that we're going to have to replace out of our pocket. So that's what I think I hear you saying, Diane, is that your recommendation, our recommendation, is that we do 1-to-1, beginning with sixth grade next year. They take them home. That is the one recommendation.
Correct.
And that we purchase a sleeve for every student, and that we keep looking at models, but perhaps this model that is about $12 to $15 is the one we will recommend. And that we are recommending the ADP full coverage at $63 per kid for 3 years.
Correct.
Okay, then I just wanted to make sure you heard the recommendation. It is yours to say yes, no, but we do from an ordering standpoint, probably don't need to have to do it in February. We probably could wait till March if you want to have another conversation about this. But the question is, what additional information do you want? We can pull that if there's more conversation that needs to be had.
I think it would be helpful to reach out to those 3 self-insured schools and see how they're doing. Are they using Lenovo's? Because
They're Chromebook districts. So they're the Chromebook districts, I can tell you that.
Different animal.
So it's a whole different animal, correct? It's, one of the districts is Palisades, so it's a much smaller district. So, Palisades and, I have to look to see who the other ones are.
and which is better?
Meaning,
These are better than Chromebook?
Yes.
Much better.
oh, yeah.
So if we're saying that Chromebooks aren't as good and they're self-insured, if we find out that they're out ahead, then we should really be golden, right? Because we have computers that are supposed to be better as far as durability.
I don't believe that. I don't think that question was durability in terms of Chromebooks versus what we're using.
Correct.
It has to do with what they're
Capability.
capable of doing.
Capability.
It's capability.
And
And
Chromebooks are very limited in terms
They're
of what they can
browsers.
do from an app standpoint. They
They're-
literally are just intended to be web browsers.
Yep.
They're not to run any other applications.
Yep.
Right, which means if you're then using math software, or using science software, or using
That's right.
Canvas, those types of things do not apply the same on Chromebook as they would on not even just a Lenovo, but a PC machine.
correct. I do have a concern also if we self-insure, just that we can get the availability of parts, and keeping parts,
That's
any
huge.
kind of a,
Amazon.
Inventory.
inventory. If we send it to Lenovo, obviously they have the Lenovo parts, so, there's that to consider as well.
Or they replace it with
Or
something
they-
comparable.
Correct.
Can you mess up your warranty when you don't make the repair correctly?
But we're talking about not
Something
having
that
the
they're not gonna
warranty.
cover anyway.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
We're only fixing the ones, the rates that are not under
that
warranty.
are not under warranty, correct.
So is there different information, or could you be thinking about whether there is additional information that would be helpful to you? Right, and if we do not hear that, does it make sense to move this forward? In February,
I'm fine with it,
Right.
the numbers make sense as long as we're covering it with.
Right, I'm fine with the proposal as it is and with the $25 insurance.
Correct.
coverage.
And that covers your warranty and